In this video, you will learn about the most expensive and luxury services that are used by only the rich and billionaires. I'm sure you will enjoy a lot to know about these interesting services. Hello everyone, welcome to our channel, Billionaire Manifestation. So let's start. Number 9. Assistants. You might not know this, but there are multiple kinds of assistants. The most popular two are EAs and PAs. EA stands for Executive Assistant. This person acts like a buffer on all ongoing projects happening in the life of the super wealthy. This is the person who keeps the managers in check. They know all the passwords, they can approve changes, and are responsible for filtering out information that reaches the top. The second ones are PAs, or Personal Assistants. This is the person that makes sure schedules are being fulfilled, that you're where you're supposed to be, and on time. PAs generally have a higher rank than EAs because they have access to some of the more personal aspects of someone's life. Whatever you're dealing with, your PA and EA are the two people you're most likely to talk to first, and they set up the following steps for you. These two usually work together, and just letting you and your Lexers know that this is no longer a luxury. There are many services out there that offer personal VAs or virtual assistants. You can find one on freelancer.com, Upwork, or even Fiverr, just for a couple of bucks. You can outsource the boring stuff like sorting through emails, researching out or maintaining a calendar for these people. We've personally used VAs for a while now until things get a bit more complicated, and then we decided to bring someone in. Number 8. Private security. Unless you're filthy rich, you've probably never even heard of the following brands: Syntigen, Enter Our Heart, or Armor Max. These companies provide armored commercial vehicles, a market that, by the way, has been skyrocketing in the past decade. More and more rich people are buying bulletproof cars, not just as a risk for getting shot, but also in order to increase the chance of survival in any event. While entry-level rich will go for a private security from a fairly well-known company like G4S or Khaki, higher profile individuals will work with someone like Brinks or DynCorp. These are more or less military or intelligence agents, for hire depending on the need. Not every rich person needs a bodyguard though. It's actually one of the big secrets of the truly wealthy. Although their name might not ring a bell, they're not so easily recognizable. Sure, you'll be able to spot Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, or Elon Musk in a crowd, but could you really recognize Lucas Walton if you were to ride the subway alongside him in London? The luxury in this case is they can afford the added protection while traveling. They have a detail on them. If for any reason they're at a higher risk environment, they can afford to increase their odds of coming back. Number 7. Cybersecurity. Cyber and home security have become mainstream issues in the past years for the general population, but the rich have been paying a premium for this for decades. The reasoning is simple. The more money you have, the bigger targets you have on your back for people who want some of it. Starting with your email, your calendar, your cloud accounts, to straight up home alarms and cameras. Smart locks, Ring doorbells, and Nest cameras have become essential to almost every developed household. Apart from those, absolutely everything you do online can be tracked. This is why the rich insist on using hard private servers. They have a closed internal network for business purposes. When traveling, they also use private networks. It's nobody's business what you're doing online when so much money is at stake. Fortunately, this type of service has become accessible to the average consumer. Although you may not be able to afford satellite phones and the type of security these people have, the least you could do is get yourself a virtual private network, or VPN. Number 6. Private therapist, priest, or a life and meditation coach. When you have all the money in the world, you need to have your focus strict. This is one reason why most high net worth individuals keep a mindset advisor on payroll. This could be a therapist helping them overcome anxiety or childhood trauma, a priest providing spiritual guidance and clarity when it comes to what's waiting on the other side, or a professional life or meditation coach that helps you focus your mind and efforts towards your next big objectives. Before becoming a multimillionaire himself, you could have gotten Jordan Peterson as your personal psychiatrist for somewhere between $200 to $500 an hour. Many tech CEOs have a spiritual advisor on board to the point where it became a running joke on TV shows like Silicon Valley. But what happens when you're in a high-end negotiation or a high-profile athlete struggling to see how you can overcome the next hurdle and perform at 100% of your ability? You hire a professional coach like Tony Robbins. His coaching fee for one day is in the ballpark of $1 million. But we've heard of cases where $250,000 was enough. When it comes to meditation coaches, the entry-level higher-end ones start at $150 per session, and the sky is the limit as long as the client can afford it. Number 5. Life and property insurance. Yeah, we know you have a life and home insurance as well. So what's the big deal? Well, your insurance doesn't cover kidnappings, does it? The rich have a different set of privileges coming with their subscription, including the cost of professional negotiators and SWAT teams in place to handle this type of situation. The same thing happens if one of your priceless items gets stolen or is at the risk of being lost. Let's say all hell breaks loose. Floods, riots, tornadoes, anything you can imagine is hitting the region where you live or where your private collection is. The insurance agency will send helicopters with highly trained individuals to the danger zone to transport your art or possessions out of the region. Number 4. Country clubs and memberships to private groups. What's the big deal with country clubs and private groups? Basically, it's a private networking setting for the rich. Yes, you get the tennis courts, the spa, the cigars, and all of that. But that's not why most people join one. It's hard to make friends when you're rich because almost nobody can relate to your struggles and everybody wants something from you. So country clubs popped up as a setting for a similar individual to get together. You know how your drunk loser friends spend time with a local pub? It's like that, only you're meeting potential business partners. Many billionaires have done bigger deals on the golf course than they've done in the boardroom. This is why rich people are obsessed with golf. You spend your day in nature walking around talking to people who are there for the same reasons as you, to enjoy oneself and to make each other richer. Number 3. Elite nannies. You would not believe just how competitive the premium elite nanny market is. Billionaires are fighting over specific nannies because once you get the right one, it's a multiple-year commitment. It's usually a closed circuit, with referrals being the most valuable hiring criteria. This person will spend most of their time with your children, supplementing the gaps you're leaving. Nannies are not just babysitters. They're professional coaches, speak 3 languages or more, provide emotional support and the tools necessary for the child to evolve in the direction set by the parent. These nannies earn over $100,000 a year, don't have to pay rent or food. They spend most of their time in mansions and luxury cars. If you don't speak Mandarin or at least have an MA from a prestigious university, don't bother applying for the job. Although this might seem like an incredible job opportunity, think of it like this. The rich are paying someone who already has an incredible set of skills to trade their time and some of their best years for the success of their children. Number 2. Multiple passports and offshore private banking. This is where things get interesting, or more on the grey side of things. One of the first things rich people do is secure a second or third passport. This allows them to travel to different countries that might be restricted under your main nationality. This is usually very lucrative for business. You've worked hard for your money and just want to make sure that no matter what happens, you and your family will be taken care of. This is how private banking services have popped up in offshore jurisdictions. Panama has been a big one until the recent scandal. But did you notice how all of it went away and nobody's talking about it anymore? Seychelles, Cyprus, Belize, Malta, British Virgin Islands and more, just to name a few. For years, Hong Kong has been the preferred spot for doing business in Asia. You'd set up a company in Hong Kong, low to almost no taxes, and a large marketplace waiting to be conquered. The rich have used this type of financial instrument to set up nest eggs for dark days, to purchase property without declaring it, or minimize taxes. Apple, Google and Facebook are doing it transparently by paying the bulk of their taxes in Ireland because they're lower than the US. If we were to push things to the limit, $10,000 to $20,000 in a place like Belize will buy you a new identity, a new name, new birth certificate, and everything. You just have to know who to ask. Number 1. High net worth dating. A big problem for rich individuals is dating. You simply don't have the time to do it the same way everybody else does, since you're basically trapped in running the portfolio of companies you have under your belt. So, what do? The most generic case is you read or see someone at an event that sparks your interest. Then you ask your PA to talk to the other person's PA to set up a meeting. You know, my people talking to your people to set up a date. Come to think of it, it's not that different from high school, is it? Only there's more money involved. But a bit of market insight here. It's a a lot more difficult for high net worth women to find someone than men. It has to do with age, net worth, and social requirements. As feminists as we'd like the world to be, women still desire men who are at least as capable as them, if not more. This isn't a big problem when you're young and in the middle of class, but when you're 38, your net worth is over $50 million, and you work at least 60 hours a week, your dating pool dries up pretty fast. As a solution to this problem, dating agencies created events where high-profile individuals looking for love get to mingle. It might sound cringy, but for some people, they work. Those balls and charity galleries are also an excuse to meet people. That's why the rich show up. Now, looking back on this list, you realize it's a lot more complicated being rich than it seems, right? Which brings us to something we really wanted to ask you. If you were to get one of these luxury services in your life, which one would you pick? The obvious one would be the wealth management service. At the end of the video, leave a like and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.